Hi, I'm Ken Blanchard, co-founder with my wife Margie of the Ken Blanchard Companies. I'm so excited that you are building leadership cultures in your organization, and the managers and the HR people are driving this throughout your organization. I just think it's fabulous. And let me just share with you, because we're excited about helping you in this whole process with some of our concepts like situational leadership, servant leadership, building trust, the 1-minute manager, and those kinds of things. And the reason why those kind of things will help you is that the key thing in creating a great organization is that you got to recognize that your number one customer is your people, and that's where you're going to build your culture. And if you train your people, take care of your people, make sure that they understand their job, motivate their people, they're going to get excited and be fully engaged. And then you know what? They're going to go out of their way to take care of your number two most important customer, the people that use your products and services. And then they're going to become raving fans of yours and become part of your sales force. And that's going to take care of the owners and the top managers, and the people are interested in organizational productivity and bottom line kinds of things, because it's really important. See, a lot of times we make a mistake in organization assuming that we're in business to make money. No, profit is the applause you get for creating a motivating culture for your people, so they go out of their way to take care of your customers. And it's important for you to remember that. The way you get there, I think, is through servant leadership. And when I talk about servant leadership with a lot of people, they initially think I'm talking about the inmates running the prison or trying to please people and all. But they don't understand that there's really two parts of servant leadership. The first part is vision and direction and goals. See, leadership's about going somewheres. And so you all in HRD, you got to make sure that in your organizations that people are cleared on, first of all, what is the mission of the organization? What are you trying to do? Why are you in business? And the second thing you got to make sure is, what's your picture of the future? What are the results that you're trying to create? And then what are the values? What's going to guide your journey? You need about 3 to 5 values that everybody can understand. And then you set the goals for that particular year. And that has to be the responsibility of the hierarchy. It doesn't mean you don't involve people, but that's the leadership part of servant leadership. See, people don't understand that there's two parts to servant leadership, and the leadership part is about vision and direction and goals. Okay, now once that leadership is done, now you turn the pyramid upside down, and now this is the servant part. Now you're working for your people. You're trying to help them win, and so that eventually they take care of your customers. And how does that play out? I have found that there's 3 parts of managing your people's performance and creating a leadership culture that excites them. That's performance planning, so everybody knows what the goals and objectives are. And part of performance planning is deciding where they are in situational leadership in terms of development level and what leadership style they need on each of their goals to help them go and all. Then once that's clear, then you move to the second part, which is day-to-day coaching. And this is where the 1-minute manager stuff comes in, praising people's progress, redirecting them if their performance is in the direction that they want. And then finally, the last part is performance evaluation. But I want to tell you, in organizations where they don't have a great leadership culture, when I ask them between planning, coaching, and evaluation with people, where do you spend the most time? And almost everywhere around the world, they say, oh, evaluation. Because that's when they're sitting around filling out all these forms on their people, while their people outside wondering how well they did. And the reality is that if you really do a good job of performance planning and people know what they're being asked to do, and then you provide the leadership they need, your job as you teach your managers is to help them to get an A. And what's an A? Accomplishing their goals. And where that comes from is, I was a college professor for 10 years, and the faculty used to, say, what are you doing? We understand you're giving out the final the first day of class. I said, you're right. And they said, what are you doing? I said, I'm not only going to give the final out the first day of class, what do you think I'm going to do all semester? I'm going to teach them the answers. So when they get the final exam, life's about getting A's. You want them to get A's, not some normal distribution curve. I get discouraged as I go around the world. People are still evaluating people and putting them into a normal distribution curve. How many of you go out and hire losers? We lost some of our worst people last year. We want to hire some new losers to fill the low slots. No, you go out and hire winners you steal from other companies, or you hire people with potential that you think if you train them, they're going to really be winners. You're not hiring a normal distribution curve. So you want your people to win. So once performance planning is done well, now you got to go to the day-to-day coaching and give them the leadership style that they need, praise their progress, redirect their efforts when they're off. And so now when they get to evaluation, they win. And one of my thoughts, it might be a little wild for some of you, is that you have to have people only fill out one performance review in your organization, their own. And then it's the job of the manager to agree or disagree. If you do something, and this is one final thought I'll give you, is every one of you, if you're creating a leadership culture, should meet with each of your direct reports for 15 to 30 minutes once every 2 weeks at a minimum. We call this one-on-one, and you as a manager should schedule the meeting, but the direct reports set the agenda. If you met with each of your people 26 times a year for 15 or 30 minutes, would you know them? Would they know you? Would you be able to help them accomplish their goals? Sure you would. And that's one of the most important things. Peter Drucker told me years ago, nothing good happens by accident. Put some structure on it. And so a great leadership culture is not going to happen by accident. You got to do some leadership training. And my hat's off to you that that's what you're going to be doing. So I'm sorry I'm not going to be with you at Belgrade at the conference, but you're in good hands with our partners from Serbia. And I just wish you the very best. And remember, your most important resource, your most important customer is your people. And leadership, it makes the difference. Good luck.